We on? We good? Yep. Good morning and welcome to the latest SilviaFindings live stream. My name is Mark. I'll be your live stream presenter today. In case you aren't aware, SilviaFindings is one of the largest, not one of, I would say the largest supplier of findings, hence the name, for rings, pendants, beads, bales in sterling silver, sheet metal, wire, jump rings, clasps, you name it, we've got it. But I think pendants and rings, nobody has the selection that we have. I mean, that's just the reality of the situation is. I know that there are lots of other, not lots of, there are a couple of other places that you can get similar products, but, and I'm not biased just because I work here. I'm just saying this, you know, because it's true. Nobody has the selection that we have. And I'm going to prove it by showing, well, proof. I'm going to demonstrate that by showing you just some of our products today. This is the first in series of live stream presentations that will be kind of like an online catalog where we're going to be showing you kind of up close all of our products from A to Z, and we're going to start with pendants this morning. Obviously we're not going to do all of it in one sitting, slowly but surely. And I think eventually you'll be able to search wherever we have these, YouTube or wherever they are. If there's any specific product that you're looking for, you'll be able to search. Hopefully somewhere in the information will have the SKUs of all of the codes or of all of the products that we're talking about today, and then you'll be able to look at them and actually see them physically in 3D instead of sometimes looking at them just on the website. Is enough information, but not as much information as you'd like. Sometimes you'd like to see the things actually moving in 3D, how big they are in relation to my big fingers. So that's our point here, to do that. The live streams in general, the reason why we do them is because, we used to do lots of shows before the pandemic hit, and all of which are canceled, except for one. Actually, next week, supposedly, we're going to be in Calgary. Not supposedly, we're definitely going to be in Calgary next weekend. That's the, I don't know the dates off the top of my head. Just shoot me now. 15th?
From 16th.
16th? 17th, 18th. Yeah, so Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
So next week there's no live show.
Oh, right. And that's at the Big Four in Stampede Park there, right? Everybody from Calgary knows where that is. You can just look up Calgary Gem Show, and there's a lot of information about that. But anyway, we'll be there. So we're finally going to start seeing you guys again. But that's not going to preclude us from doing these live streams because these are great. We really like them. And for what it's worth, I personally will not be there in Calgary. It's just Nelson and Marble who are going. They're concerned for my immunocompromised state, which is neither here nor there. Dude, that's in Chinese. I can't read Chinese. Helen Young.
Helen and Heather is watching.
And Heather. Helen and Heather, that's what you're saying. I thought they were actually asking you a question. And Marble's phone is in Chinese. And I mean, I'm good. I can read each strand. I know those characters. Wait, I know that one. But that's about it. And Dragon, because everybody knows that one, right? The little box with the line through it. Everybody knows that one. That's probably not what that means anyway, so neither here nor there. So if you're in Calgary, we'll see you in Calgary next weekend, next weekend, not this coming weekend, but the weekend after. Having said that, because we pack up, it takes us a couple days of things, and they're driving, they're going to be leaving probably Wednesday. They might drive Thursday, I'm not sure. No, they'll probably drive Wednesday. Anyway, the point is we'll be packing everything up and shipping all the inventory off to the show with them. So there'll be no live stream next week. So next Wednesday, we won't be here. Well, I'll be here, but there'll be no live stream next week. Couple notes about shipping. Just because it's a pet peeve of mine and it's a bugaboo that I can't seem to get rid of. It's bad everywhere. It's just getting longer and longer. We've had there's a couple of packages that we shipped to Australia, and I don't know if it's just because Australia is so far is the most remote country from us, all due respect to Australians. The furthest away from us that we've shipped you, but there are two packages that are still in transit, that have been in transit going on 8 weeks now. So that's like, I could have swam to Australia faster than 8 weeks, but neither here nor there. So if you need the stuff in a hurry, especially now Christmas is coming up and people are starting to prepare their Christmas products, and if you're crafters, if you're maybe they're doing craft shows, or your online presence is growing and you need more inventory and you're starting to prepare your Christmas stuff. Everybody's doing that starting about now, and it's getting busy. Plan ahead, order early, or ideally, make the orders big enough that it makes sense for you to pay for the premium shipping. Through DHL, you get it in like 1 or 2 days. We've had shipments into Germany that took literally 3 days. We shipped it on a Monday and they got it on the Thursday, which is, awesome. So, I mean, that's, to me, it's worth it. If you can, keep your freight charges to within, say, 10% or less of the value of the goods, I think when you go to business school, they tell you, 5%. Your freight should never be more than 5% of the cost of the goods. But sometimes you just need it in a hurry, and it's worth paying the premium. And I think it is worth paying the premium, personally. I think it's just a great service. If you do order via DHL and you need stuff to go now, just don't forget to somehow. If you're ordering on our website, it's no problem because your phone number is there. But if you're ordering on Etsy, we don't always get your phone number in there. So somewhere, if you're ordering on Etsy and you want us to ship it by DHL, send us a message with your phone number, because we have to have that on the when we're filling out the shipping information for DHL. It just saves us having to try to get a hold of you, and then if we don't get a hold of you the day or the thing and stuff, sometimes I'll try to look up the person who's buying the stuff on social media, or try to Google them, find out where they work, and use their work phone number if I can find it. I did that once to a guy in England. It actually worked out great. Anyway, neither here nor there. My point is, shipping is getting kind of sketchy, especially around the holiday season. I feel like, all of these postal services have plans in place to add more staff, but I think it's going to get a little bit dicey this holiday season. So, volumes of packages are already up, and they're just going to get even bigger and bigger and bigger. And I think this Christmas is going to be, it's going to be tricky for delivery services. But as always, again, enough about that. If you share this live stream with somebody, let us know, or we'll know, because we get a thing. We'll get a hold of you, get your address, and we'll send you one of these polishing cloths. If you purchase anything during the live stream, and you want us to ship just regular shipping, that means no tracking, no thing, you'll get your 10% discount if you are a member of a local lapidary club, or one of the Facebook groups that we're members of, which I think Marvel told me, I think we're members of like 700 groups or something crazy. 1,000 now. We're up to 1,000 groups. I didn't even know there were 1,000 jewelry groups on Facebook. That's just crazy. It seems like you got to consolidate. Get a bunch of groups together. You don't need 1,000 groups. Anyway, don't get me started. To today, like I said, we're going to start with pendants, and I'm going to start. We have our pendants arranged when we do shows in trays, like these. Let me show you these, right? Like these trays, jewelry trays. The thing's falling everywhere. And in the olden days, when somebody ordered something, we literally had to go looking through every tray to find the code numbers, sort of thing. But then we got the brilliant idea to number the trays and to cross-reference individual codes with trays, so that instead of looking through all the trays, we could just look through tray number 7, tray number 1, tray whatever. So we're going to do this in order of the numbers on the trays. Neither here nor there. The first product that I want to show you is turn this a little bit sideways because this is so huge. This is a lovely, pendant for an oval cabochon. It's got, I might have to use a smaller one so you could see this thing, because I don't think it'll focus on that. You can see at the bottom. There's a couple of little star tabs. Let me get a smaller version of this in here. Right, see those little star tabs? Once you set the cab in there, if it's a low dome cab, theoretically, you could just push those tabs down and it'll hold it on. And I actually have done that at shows for people who bought these, who think if it was a, like a thin stone cab, or maybe an ammonite, cabochon, although you rarely see them this big, you could theoretically get away with just pushing the star tabs down onto the stone. That'll hold it in place. If it's a higher dome cabochon, you just have to glue it, right? So the inside edge of that, just a little dab of glue around the inside edge with a good 2-part epoxy. Put the stone down in there. Make sure that push in. These particular pendants, I find it's kind of important that the dimensions be pretty dead on. You can get away with a 1/4 millimeter here or there difference, but boy, any more than that and it begins to look weird. So these are probably more useful to somebody who's cutting their own stones, because they can always shave off a little bit off the edge if they need to, or if you're lucky and the stones exactly fit, because ovals are ovals, but not all ovals are the same, right? You can have a a 15 by 20 millimeter oval, that has a couple of different shapes, just because the widest outside edge and the widest, top to bottom edge are those distances away. The angles of the corners, right? How these corners come down, may not always be exactly the same. So, it's important for these to be a really good fit, a good perfect fit. Having said that, we have so many different sizes of these, and that's kind of why we have so many different sizes of these. This one, the largest one that we have, is MTP 924, and the size of this is 39 by 53 millimeters. Right, and these have all been updated. Yeah, so these are all the correct prices, the new prices. I know that we hadn't updated the prices as of the last stream, but these are all new. Retail price is $43.86, and the wholesale price is $29.24. So MTP 924, 39 by 53. Another. And I'm just going to read these all the way down. It's all the same item. They're just different sizes. MTP 925, 33 by 49 millimeters. The retail price is $41.56, and the wholesale price is $27.72. And then we've got MTP 240, and this code is 29 or the size 29 by 39 millimeters. Retail price is $36.24, and the wholesale price is $25.38. Oops. The next one, MTP 4 or 926, 28 by 40 millimeters. So you see, we've got so many different variations. Sometimes, you know, the ovals are taller than they are wide, or I guess they always are. But sometimes they're, you know, the dimensions are not always the same. You know, like it's not an obvious. Hard to describe. Anyway, so here's one that is, you know, sort of wider than a normal 40 millimeter tall um, pendant would be. Anyway, MTP 926, 28 by 40 millimeter, 34.94 is the retail price, and 23.30 is the wholesale price. MTP 927 with dimensions of 25 by 35 millimeters. Retail price is $31.33, and the wholesale price $20.89. Yeah, we're getting a little bit smaller one. There's 28 by 32 is the size of this MTP 928. Retail price $28.50, and the wholesale price $18.99. The next size, MTP 239, 21 by 29 millimeters. 26.08 is the retail price, and 16.30 is the wholesale price. Is that MTP 238, 18 by 24 millimeter, right? So that's kind of more the golden mean, you know, golden ratio sort of thing of ovals, right? Yeah. MTP 238, 18 by 24 millimeter, 24.04 is the retail price, and 15.03 is the wholesale price. You know, the thing with ovals, here's one a little bit different than that golden ratio. 16 by 21 millimeters, MTP 769, and the retail price is 19.72, and the wholesale price is 13.16. But like I was saying, the thing about ovals, especially when they're being cut by a lapidary, is usually they'll start with a template and they'll just kind of draw out the shape and then kind of carve it. But when you're polishing the stone and grinding the shape down to the edges, it's really easy to overgrind one side and then you've got to compensate on the other side, and the oval ends up looking more like this. Instead of the golden ratio, it's a little bit less wide across the side to side than it is top to bottom. Anyway, they all look awesome, but it's harder to find pendants for those kind of things. MTP 929, and the measurement 14 millimeters by 24 millimeters. The retail price $23.11, and the wholesale price $15.41. And if you can't remember all of these measurements, MTP 930. These measurements of this one is 12 by 20 millimeters. Retail price is 20 by 70, or $20.70, and the wholesale price $13.79. All of these sizes are available, to look at on this on the website. You can search any one of these SKUs, and all of the others of the same item will show up, and you can look at all the different sizes we have there to match up with your stone. MTP 770 is the SKU of this one. The measurements of this 15 by 20 millimeters is the stone size, and the retail price $18.69, and the wholesale price is $12.47. MTP 771. The size is 13 by 18 millimeters, and the retail price is $17.62, and the wholesale price $11.75. And these are great. I remember the first time the first couple shipments, or the first 1 or 2 shipments we got of these, the star was really, really thick and it was difficult to push down. And I begged Marble to make them thinner, and now they're much thinner. They're much easier to push down on it, but they're still thick enough that they hold great. But they're a lot easier to push down without marring the star. Anyway, MTP 772 for a 12 by 16 millimeter stone. $16.87 is the retail price, and $11.25 is the wholesale price. MTP 773 11 by 15 millimeters is the stone size. Retail is $15.86 and wholesale is $10.58. Someone wanted me to set a cut stone in that at a show once, and it fit, and so I did it. But I wasn't happy with it because the pavilion sticks out the back, and then when you're wearing it on a chain, if it's a really pointy culet, it'll scratch your neck. But you could, if you have the right size stone and the right edge geometry, you could definitely also set a cut stone in here. Although, like again, I said it depends entirely on the angle of the pavilion because of the clearance of the the hole in the back at the side. There has to be enough space for the girdle to sit at least at or below the edge here. So to be able to push these stars down over onto it. MTP 774, 10 by 14 millimeter stone. Retail price is $14.01 and the wholesale price is $9.35. And MTP 775 10 by 12 millimeter. Our retail price is $13.83 and the wholesale price is $9.22. Here's one MTP 776 for 8 by 10 millimeter stone. Retail price is $12.49 and the wholesale price is $7.80. And we're not done yet. One more. MTP 777 for a 7 by 9 millimeter stone. The retail price is $10.23 and the wholesale price is $6.81. And that's the whole range of sizes for this particular style with the tabs. We've got some others on this tray. MTP 268 for 18 by 27 millimeter stone. Retail price is $24.65 and the wholesale price is $14.63. Now these next couple of them, they just include a bezel. So the bezel is, boy, the top of it is just barely thick enough that if it was a low dome cab, you could conceivably just push that bezel wall down the way you're setting if you're making a bezel wall, like if you're making your own. So you could theoretically with a burnisher push that bezel wall over onto the stone. Tricky though, and I don't recommend doing it because you might end up marring the edge if you're not super careful. So probably better just to glue the stone into there. Again, for gluing, we always recommend a good 2-part epoxy, the kind that dries clear. It's awesome because you've only got like 8 or 10 minutes to work with it while it's still sticky before it starts to get too taggy. MTP 890 for a 14 by 18 millimeter stone. The retail price is $14.27 and the wholesale price is $9.52 for this one. This got a cute little split bail at the top there, so it's not a solid bail. Again, nice, clean, obvious. This one, the bezel wall there is so thick. This is definitely for gluing only. It's pretty much the only way you can get away with that, with getting this thing. MTP 582 for a 12 by 18 millimeter stone. Retail price is $20.90. Wholesale price is $13.07. And got a couple of little bit smaller versions of this. Why are there two of these? Oh, I see. So here we have, there's two of them that they look at first glance to be pretty much exactly the same. They're both bought for 10 by 14 millimeter stones. They both have that nice thick wall, right? But this one, MTP 889, retail price 12.29, and wholesale price 8.19, has that lighter split bail at the top there, right? Whereas this other one, MTP 358, for that same 10 by 14 stone. 1282 is the retail price, and 774 is the wholesale price. This has that solid bail on the top, and I think that's the only difference between those two. Not sure where that goes. So, end of tray one. Okay.
So you also can custom make if no size fit.
Right, that's a good point. Marvel just had. Obviously, we have so many different sizes of that thing, but if you like the style and you have a stone and you don't want to change the shape of the stone, you don't want to find your local lapidary, maybe you bought it in one of these 1,000 Facebook groups that do cabochons that sell stones. You found somebody to buy your stones. We can do any of these as a custom. Also, in gold. If you have something that you think will look better in gold, we can do. Custom is custom, and molten metal all works the same. Okay. This next one, tray 2. This is there's kind of a whole bunch of different things on here, and I'm going to show you this first off the tray because it's kind of a lovely square leaf bail, right? And there's a stone dangling there from that. It's a little looks like a little garnet, and there's a couple of little stones down at the bottom, or I guess at least one. There's a little garnet down there, right? I don't know if that will fit. Maybe. The way this works is this isn't really going to fit. But basically, you'd put the stone in there. That would slide, up under there. So the top would look something like that, and the bottom would look something like that, right? And then on the back, it looks like that. Now, in theory, I think you could maybe get away if the stone were just like perfect, the perfect size. Pushing these edges, in to hold everything in place. But it's probably better if you use some of that two-part epoxy on the back of that thing. One of the things I love about this is that once the stone is in place, the back is still just as beautiful as the front. Right? It's just super interesting all the way around. That code of that one is MTP 899 for a 20 by 30 millimeter pair stone. Retail price is $25.26, and the wholesale price is $18.94. And again, this obviously is for a cabochon, right? You couldn't use a cut stone on that one. Next one is same idea, right? Stone again. This is a little bit closer. Stone doesn't fit, but that goes in there. These things push down onto the stone. Again, it doesn't really fit, but right. You can use some glue on the inside edge of that. Would be the best way, I think, to hold that in place to make it stay forever. MTP 898 for a 19 by 27 millimeter pair. Retail price $23.92, and the wholesale price is $17.94. And then we've got that little dragonfly. I guess that the dragonfly-ish stylized dragonfly, let's call it, with the lovely marcasites in there, the faux marcasites. I think those are faux marcasites. It might be real. And a lovely split bail with another marcasites in there, right? Very cute. Here's a little more traditional pendant. MTP 974 for an 8 by 10 millimeter cabochon. Retail price is $13.14. Wholesale price is $8.22. This one, you can see the seat. I don't know if you could see that, maybe just from the reflection, how the seat is flat, right? Just on the inside of the prongs, right? The inside of the prongs are flat, right? Curved on the outside, tapered to a point. This seat is ostensibly designed for cabochon, but you could, because it's, you know, there's a basket sort of effect, and it's high enough up off the pendant that you could very easily, or just as easily, set a cut stone in there, you know, without worrying about the culet stabbing you in the throat as you're wearing it, or in the chest. This one has a cute little cubic zirconia there set in the top of that. Right. Here's a MTP 862 for an 8 millimeter heart shaped stone. Retail price $11.73 and wholesale price $8.45. And this, oh nice. When we say 8 millimeter for the heart stones, literally if you took a caliper and you measured it from top to bottom and then from side to side, you know, they're usually kind of square. So they're usually the same dimensions top to bottom as they are left to right, side to side. This has got a double prong in the bottom, so it works perfectly for a very pointy heart stone. Again, the seat is made flat, so it's perfect for a cabochon, but you could just as easily set a cut stone in there. Just really cool, very interesting, very gorgeous piece. Here's you got something from all over the place here. MTP 210 for a 21 by 12 millimeter heart. Again, this one, boy, hope you have access to a grinding wheel or lapidary supplies, because just accidentally finding a stone that will fit this will be super rare. The retail price is $28.33. The wholesale price is $16.99. You know, but if you're a lapidary and you cut stones and you want something to, you know, you want to just make a cool heart for your loved one, or you know, this is a piece to go by. Another cool thing with all of these, you know, pieces that have the solid, you know, back, right? You can use these, you know, fill them with resin, you know, different colored resins or different crushed stones or powders or things, you know, a lot of that commemoration jewelry, what do they call it again?
Yes. Cremation.
Cremation. So people mixing, you know, cremation ashes with resin and, you know, different colors, maybe some crushed stones to give color,
Opal.
and or opals, right, crushed opals, and filling, you know, the things with these. These are perfect for that. There's lots of that jewelry around that you see with, you know, that resin. I'm always really partial to the ones, you know, you get these old-timey pictures, like, you know, Lalique pictures and stuff, where they, you know, they cut it out so that it's just in the background, and you glue that very cool image or picture into the back of that, and then you fill the rest of it with resin. And if you fill it just right, so that, you know, surface tension will hold the resin together, so it makes kind of like a bulge in the top of it, and it sort of almost, you know, magnifies around the edges. Very cool pictures. So lots of cool things you can do with this kind of pendant. And for what it's worth, we have lots more of that stuff coming up in tray number 3. Just we have some circles, but we also have lots more new ones that are going to be up on the website. Oh my god, I don't know, someday. Soon. Here's a Another, kind of more traditional oval pendant for a 6 by 8 millimeter oval cabochon or cut stone. Again, the seat is flat, so it's designed for a cabochon, but the seat is also not so thick that you can get away with a cut stone, depending on the shape of the pavilion, of course. MTP 414 is this dolphin pendant. The retail price is $14.85 and the wholesale price is $9.89. Here's a gorgeous apple cabochon pendant. Yeah, I don't recommend doing anything besides it. It's got to be a cab for this. MTP 291 with the measurements 25 by 24 millimeter. Retail price is $24.36 and the wholesale price is $16.35. Now, I know I said it's pretty much got to be a cabochon, but even as I'm saying that, I just know there are people out there who are going to say, well, I've got this cut stone, I'm going to put it in there and it'll work fine. So, whatever, neither here nor there. Pretty much everything works until it doesn't. Here's another kind of cool, right? Just regular old, standard bail. Little triangular pendant, little triangular basket with an oval for a 5 by 7 millimeter oval. MTP 257. Now this, I don't know if you could see this, but the seat, right, just inside the prongs, you see how that's beveled, right? That is ostensibly made sort of specifically for a cut stone, and that's why you've got the basket. Now that stabilizing bar in the back can be an issue if you've got a stone with a really super high pavilion, right? But I guess, excuse me, if you had a stone that you really, really loved and you wanted to put that in that and it didn't fit because the pavilion wouldn't stick out the back, I don't think I would worry so much about removing that stabilizing bar, just cutting that out. Especially once the stone is in there and it's set. That'll be as stable as you need. Anyway, this one, MTP 257 for a 5 by 7 millimeter stone. $12.10 is the retail price and $8.28 is the wholesale price. Here's another one. Lovely kind of freeform, flourishy sort of thing. MTP 102 for a 6 by 7 millimeter oval. Retail price is $11.88 and the wholesale price is $8.32. And again, you can see how the seat of that, and by seat I didn't bring a pen or something to point with. But the seat, yeah, something. I don't know, just to point this out, this oval part here, right, that you're looking at, that's the seat. That's where the stone sits down on, and then the prongs, right, are just on the outside of that seat. So when you're measuring these things, you're measuring the outside of this, to get the measurement of the stone. Now, when you're designing a pendant for a cabochon, this seat, you want to make it flat. And when you're designing your pendant for cut stones, you want the seat to, I don't know if you could see that, right, to have that bevel. So, the stone fits down, more perfectly down in there. I want to say that most of the time, are virtually interchangeable, but it really depends on the edge geometry of your stone. If the pavilion is small enough that it'll fit down in there without pushing out past the prongs. Anyway, this one, MTP 102 for a 6 by 7 millimeter oval. The retail price is $11.88 and the wholesale price is $8.32. Here's another hard one. You're saying, but Mark, you just showed me that. No, this was a little bit different. It's a little different, pattern, and the shape of the heart is different. In that other one, we don't have any duplicates, I promise. MTP 292 for a more or less 25 millimeter heart, although it's not a straight heart where both sides are the same, right? One side comes down and one side curves outside, almost like it wants to be a paisley, right? Retail price is $25.52 and the wholesale price is $17.37. And this is a great, another awesome one. You might be able to get away with, depending on the shape of the heart, just pushing these tabs down and this one down on top of the heart. But again, when the seat is specifically made with these ridges inside, that says, this says, put glue here. That's basically what that means. So again, a good two-part epoxy. Let that cure overnight and that will stay in there forever. Okay. I know it seems a little bit random. MTP 601 for a 12 by 16 millimeter stone. Retail price is $22.49 and the wholesale price is $17.19. And again, this one, notice the bevel, right? In there. So this is ostensibly designed for a cut stone, although, boy, I would feel no compunction about putting a cabochon in there. It would be just as secure and just as gorgeous. So this is one of those pendants that are absolutely perfect for any stone that fits 12 by 16. This has got a ring of cubic zirconias around the seat, right, where the prongs are, and some cute little silver accents around the outside. MTP 601. Retail price $22.49 and wholesale price $17.99. MTP 539 for a 15 by 17 millimeter heart. Retail price $19.53 and the wholesale price is $12.21. This one has a couple of cubic zirconias, in here at the points here, just above the prongs. And I think, again, because this is kind of not a standard, shape, ideal for, your lapidary. If lapidary is your hobby, these are the kind of things that you want, because MTP 571 for a 21 millimeter heart. Pig's in the way. Again, this ostensibly you want to be able to glue this on there. I'm just going to put this in here just to show you what that looks like. That's not going to fit, but anyway. Right, so you got this lovely, very cool pattern around the outside. These little flourishes, curly cues, and some cubic zirconias in there as well. Here is MTP 563 old, I guess. I guess that one is one that we're not going to be reordering. That's usually what old means. 12 by 15 millimeter oval. Retail price is $21.37. Wholesale price is $13.35. Again, oval would get it. You put your stone in there. Cabochon would work best, but cut stone would definitely work. Also, then you could push this tab down onto that, so you have that lovely chevron sort of shape going over onto the top of the stone. This one, MTP 689 for a 10 by 14 millimeter stone. Retail price is $19.41 and the wholesale price is 12 by 13 millimeters. A row of cubic zirconias along either side. Very cool sort of flourish shapes. This again, because the seat is flat and the inside of the prongs are also flat and they're rounded on the outside, tapered to a point. These are pretty tall prongs, which is awesome for a good high dome cabochon. But again, you could trim these prongs down if you're putting a cut stone in there, because you only need a little bit of the prong to fit over onto the crown of the stone, just above the girdle. MTP 290 for a 14 by 12 millimeter heart-shaped stone. This again with that beveled seat is designed for a cut stone, although again I wouldn't feel out of place putting a cabochon in there at all. I think it would just fit perfectly, and it would set beautifully. It would have to be kind of a low dome cabochon because these prongs are not super long, but golly, just about anything that doesn't have a flat edge would work perfectly in there. MTP 290. I said that 14 by 12. Retail price is $15.25 and the wholesale price is $10.36. I never noticed how much dust there was on these things. Embarrassing. Here's one that I call it a violin shape, but I think it's for you've seen those jade Buddha carvings?
Yes.
Those, fit pretty well in there, as long as it's the right size, right? And they look awesome. Right? Beautiful prongs.
This is the original idea.
The original idea, yeah. For those jade, or you see them a lot in serpentine, also with all the really cool colors. The jade color and the reds and the browns. MTP 001. Oh, I guess this was the very first one we ever had. We ever designed for a 17 by 40 millimeter Buddha carving. Retail price is $19.23 and wholesale price is $12.86. So remember before when I said, the selection that we have is unmatched by anyone. You're not going to find a setting for a Buddha carving anywhere except here with the lovely cubic zirconia at the top there. God, I just love that. Very cool. MTP 881B, like boy, for an 8 by 10 millimeter stone. Retail price is $14.56 and the wholesale price is $9.69. Again, the seat is designed for a cut stone because of that bevel in there, but cabochons fit in here beautifully. I've set many cabs in here. We have a customer who I don't know if she makes them or buys them, but she always has tons of little oval cabs that she'll drop off at a show. Here, set everything you can. And I've used this pendant for many of them. I like this because it's all one piece. The bail is incorporated into the design, right? And it's just, I don't know, just a nice solid flowy design. I just like it. Love that. Here is MTP 359 for a 10 by 14 millimeter oval cabochon. And I'm going to selectively say that as a cab instead of a cut stone, just because of the bezel wall. The bezel is not thin enough to be able to push it, and where it comes into the swirl pattern here, that's just too thin to conceivably push onto the stone. So you won't be able to set this by pushing the bezel wall onto the stone. You have to use glue. And I say glue, but every time I say glue, assume I mean a good two-part epoxy, the kind that dries clear. MTP 359 is the SKU for this. 10 by 14 millimeter stone. $16.11 is the retail price, and $10.66 is the wholesale price. Here's a just classic, gorgeous little pendant for MTP 263 for a 5 by 7 millimeter stone. Cut stone or cabochon, either will work beautifully in this. $13.79 is your retail price, and $9.09 is the wholesale price. I just love this kind of classic. I don't know, I love those curlicues around the outside. Very reminiscent of the kind of filigree jewelry that I used to make when I was making jewelry ages ago in another life. MTP 429 for an 8 by 10 millimeter stone. Again, the seat is designed for a cut stone, but will work beautifully for a cabochon as well. Retail price $24.84, and the wholesale price is $16.56. This is kind of like, not really like a money bag, but it looks kind of like that sort of shape, with cubic zirconias all around the outside and a couple rows of them in the bottom, all the way around the outside. Very versatile. This one, MTP 274 for a 10 millimeter round stone. Retail price is $15.60, and the wholesale price is $10.67. And this is kind of a tension mount, right? And if you can see that split there at the bottom, you can theoretically just pull this open a little bit, enough to pop your stone in there, then push that closed, and that'll hold your stone in place. Cut stones will work in this beautifully. Maybe a cabochon too. I think it's designed for a cut stone though, but it's just very cool. And again, it's tension mount, so no prongs, no glue, just science. And we've got another version of that same one, MTP 275. Retail price is $17.38, and the wholesale price is $12.22. I think the only difference between them is this has a ram head on the top, and this has, what is that? A deer? A bull maybe? I don't know. But it's got something else in there. And here is MTP 419 for a 12 by 16 millimeter, cabochon or cut stone. You can put anything in there, anything of those dimensions. Same, pretty close to the last one or the one I showed you a couple ago. Cubic zirconias all the way around the outside. Just gorgeous, lovely. And that's it for tray 2. Now, I'm just going to do one more tray because I think I'm at 54 minutes that I've already been on. And we like to try to keep these under an hour, which again is not going to happen. This tray, we've got a couple of round, right? Just these round. Let me just show you one that's out of the bag, so you see that we don't ship you tarnished ones, I promise. These are nice, beautiful, shiny silver on the back, the incorporated bail, and that bezel cup. Again, the bezel wall is too thick to push over onto the stone, so you've got to use glue if you're putting a cabochon in there. I think these are awesome for that commemoration jewelry, or if you're using resin to fill things. Just take a piece of paper with some lovely, printed patterns on them, glue that to the back of that, fill that with clear resin, and we've got an amazing, amazing pendant that could be whatever you want. The logo for your business, whatever it is. MTP 204 is the SKU for this one, and this is a 15 millimeter one. The retail price is $16.58, and the wholesale price is $10.36. And these again are solid sterling, so they're pretty heavy. MTP 203, this one is 18 millimeters. $29.09 is the retail price. $18.19 is the wholesale price. This one is next size is 21 millimeters. MTP 202, retail price $31.41, and the wholesale price $19.63. The next size is 24 millimeters. MTP 201, retail price $31.79, wholesale price $19.86. And now we're getting to the giant ones. 27 millimeters, MTP 200, retail price $38.57, and the wholesale price $24.12. And the next big one, 30 millimeters now, MTP 199, $51.56 is the retail price, and $32.23 is the wholesale price. And then the biggest one we've got in circles is 35 millimeters diameter, MTP 198. The retail price is $59.22, and the wholesale price is $37.01. And again, the inside is not mirror finished like the back is. The backs of them and the outside edges are mirror finish, because you're always going to be putting something on there, so it doesn't need. Okay, we've got another line of just round pendants with this gallery wire. We've got a couple different styles of the gallery wire, but these are basically all the same thing again. MTP 738 for 7mm round. Cabochons I think are perfect in this. I have set cut stones in here. Depending on the shape, they fit beautifully. And they look really cool with this gallery edge, as long as the gallery wire doesn't push too far up on the girdle, onto the crown. It's just a very cool effect to see a cut stone in there, and a little bit unusual. But again, these are designed for cabs, so either way. MTP 738 for a 7mm stone again. 1034 is the retail price, and 620 is the wholesale price. Here's the same thing, but in an 8mm, MTP 855. Actually, the gallery is a little bit different. This one has hearts around it. It's so cute. MTP 855, retail 896, and the wholesale price is 560. This is the same as the first one, 11mm. Right, that's the traditional kind of gallery wire bezel. MTP 737. 1244 is the retail price, and 746 is the wholesale price. Here's one for a 13mm round. MTP 227. Retail price is 1002, and the wholesale price is 627. And again, for most of these, if you look up any of these SKUs that I'm telling you, the product in the website will show you all the different sizes that we have. So, of this particular one. Here's another one with that heart bezel.
So set this stone, we must use glue or just push the bezel?
Good question. If it's a low dome cabochon and the edge of the cabochon is lower than the top of the bezel wall, then as long as you could push the bezel wall a little bit onto the edge of the cabochon, that'll hold it in place. That's all you need. If it's a tall cabochon, if the edge geometry is really tall and extends past that bezel wall, then you have to use glue. Some people use glue all the time, no matter what. And yeah, that's fine. That's a good idea. Definitely. I don't know that I would go so far as to absolutely recommend it, but you can absolutely do it. I've always just, because a lot of the times that I'm setting stones, we're at shows and we can't use glue at shows because you need to let it cure overnight. So if it'll fit, then I'll do it. I'll just, set them. So, yes is the short answer. Sure. Why not? MTP 852. This is for a 20mm circular round thing. 1430 is a retail price. 953 is the wholesale price. And I didn't have these in order. So here's a 14mm of that heart gallery wire. MTP 853. Retail price $10.71, and the wholesale price is $7.15. MTP 225. This is for a 13mm. That same heart gallery wire, a bezel. Retail price $8.84. Wholesale price $5.53. MTP 736 for a 15mm. This is that first gallery wire bezel type. $14.27 is the retail price, and $8.57 is the wholesale price. Here's another one of the heart gallery bezel, style. For an 11 millimeter round stone, MTP 224. Retail price is $8.15, and the wholesale price is $5.10. Here's a 19 millimeter one of that heart gallery bezel wire, MTP 226. Retail price is $15.21, and the wholesale price is $9.50. And I think that's about it. We've got a couple of little components. There's a sort of a interesting component that you can use, I don't know, for anything. For an 8 millimeter round cabochon, I think designed for a cabochon, but you could definitely put a cut stone in there. CN227 for an 8 millimeter stone. The retail price is $6.90, and the wholesale price is $4.37. And you have these loops at either end that are perpendicular to each other, one going one direction, the other going the opposite direction. That's very cool. Here's a little round connector. This doesn't have a bail on it, so it's just the loop in the top that you can connect to whatever. And it's just a round bezel wall. The bezel wall is pretty thick, so you'd have to be pretty strong. You'd have to use a real hard stone to push that bezel wall down on there. I recommend gluing that if you're going to put a stone in there. An 8 millimeter round stone, MTP 731. The retail price is $7.36, and the wholesale price is $4.90. Okay, we've just got a couple of rather random connectors and things in here in this tray. MTP 243 for a 5 millimeter cabochon. Again, this is just connected with a loop at the top. There's no bail. Retail price is $11.65, and the wholesale price is $7.28. That's just, I don't know, classic sort of shape. Here's one that is really super Art Deco shape, right? That just screams Art Deco. For a 4 millimeter stone, MTP 871 is the SKU, $15.29 is the retail price, and $9.56 is the wholesale price. There's a couple things I want to bring to your attention on this one. The first, the incorporated bail, right? It's all one piece. And secondly is, look at these prongs. They're giant. These are massive. I've seen so many times at shows you see people with moonstones or labradorite or opal cabochons that are almost as tall as they are thick, and a lot of times we don't have prongs that fit on them, but these are obviously made hopefully longer than you need them to be, so you can trim them down and make them work for whatever stone you have, but you'll never run into the problem of, oh, my prongs are too short, with this particular pendant. And the last item, oh no, the penultimate item. How often, you don't get to use that word very much. Penultimate, I love it. Item on this tray is just a regular 6 millimeter MTP 963. Retail price is $3.90, and the wholesale price is $2.60. And these are what they call snap-in things, where theoretically you just get your cut stone and you push that down in there, and you push it all the way in until the girdle goes past the top, and then it snaps into where the notches are, and then it closes. I always like to give it a little push to make sure they're all set anyway, but I guess in theory, and this one is bent because it's been sitting in the tray with other trays sitting on top of it. We've got these in another tray that I'm not going to get to this week because I'm already 5 minutes over my hour, that are in different sizes. Oh, did I say that size right? MTP 963 for a 6 millimeter stone, $3.90 is a retail, $2.60 is a wholesale, and appropriately gaudy for the very last one on this thing. This is like one of my favorites. MTP 1124 for an 11 millimeter round stone, and this definitely you could put a cabochon or a cut stone in there. Retail price is $37.44, and the wholesale price is $23.40. And this is that leopard, right? Jaguar head, leopard, probably jaguar. I want to say leopard because the emerald eyes make it seem to me like it's Amazon, jungle. Lovely cubic zirconia pave style bale, and this jaguar head again pave style with all the stones. All the cubic zirconia is in there for a round stone. The stone would fit just sort of thing under the lip of the front of the thing, and then these prongs push down onto the cab or the cut stone. Again, you can trim these down to whatever size you want, dress the ends to make it beautiful. But this one, I don't know. I think that Jaguar head is crazy cool.
This one not on our website. I think it's a new one.
No, this is on our website, I think.
Already?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Or maybe it's not. I don't know. This is in not the very most recent shipment, which I haven't even taken pictures of, but it was in the previous shipment that may or may not be on the website yet. Anyway, MTP 1124 for an 11 millimeter round. And that, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. I unpacked 5 trays because I thought, well, maybe we'll get through 5 trays. We did not. Maybe a little more. Was that more information than you needed for each of the pieces? I don't know. I feel like, even though the website will say things like, ideally suited for cabs, but cut stones will work. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like pointing out the reasons why that makes a difference will help. And like I said, we're going to be doing these, going over the trays sequentially. And we've got, for pendants alone, we've got like 40 trays. So this is going to take a long time to get through. But interspersed with these catalog things, we're also going to do a few how-tos, kind of like we did last week. We did the soldering demo showing you those jewelry findings that we did. We might do a couple of tray catalog live streams, and then we'll throw in, I think the next one I want to show a couple different ways to set prongs, because, prongs are a very general category for a lot of different things, and a lot of times you might have a prong that's obviously way too long, like this, right? Depending on your stone, that might be way longer than you need, and people are really reticent to start modifying pieces that they bought, because even though these pieces are ostensibly finished, all you need to do is put the stone in and set the stones in. The prongs are kind of like what do you say, broadcast. It's like most of the stones that would be used in this setting would need these kinds of prongs. We have a lot of rings, a lot of pendants where the prongs are extra long, that are made specifically with the idea of, okay, these prongs are probably longer than you need. They may be long enough for some crazy big stones, but the expectation is that, yeah, you might need to trim them down and polish the ends and things. And I wanted to show you that because I think a lot of times that information doesn't get included. So I think that's it. I think that's all we need. I think that's it. So thanks for joining us this week. We'll be here not next Wednesday, but the Wednesday after. And I don't know the date off the top of my head because I can't count. What's today? The 6th?
Today is 7th.
7th. So 21st. It'll be the 21st when we're back. 10:30 Pacific time and any other time, depending what time period you're in. Thanks for joining us this week, and we'll see you next week. Take care of yourself. Always be creative. Keep making stuff. Very important. When you're feeling low, you're feeling thing. I know people are, stuck at home or whatever. Just keep making stuff. That'll always make you feel better. And even if you're tired of you're stuck in a rut and you can't think of what to do next and you're not feeling creative, my trick to that is remake something that you've already made. Just the process of getting in there and working with whatever tools you're working with will get the creative juices flowing. And sometimes doing stuff that's very familiar where you don't have to think about the process, about the technique, automatically gets the synapses firing and new pathways forming, and different ideas will go into your head. So take care of yourself, take care of your planet, take care of your life, and we'll see you here in 2 weeks. Thanks very much. Okay, bye-bye. Okay, it's good.